What's up, my ninjas? How's everybody doing? Um, it's weird because it's almost 9 o'clock and it's still pretty bright outside. Um, so earlier this morning, in Singapore, um, uh, you know, there was some resolution, or I guess some written commitments about what's gonna happen between North Korea, South Korea, the United States, and what's going on with really their involvement with the rest of the world, right? And you know, me being an a child of someone who was born in South Korea, what does this mean? What does this mean for me as an American citizen? All these things, right? But um, you know, do I think Donald Trump is a good person and all this stuff? And there's all these different things. You know, just take a step back and think about what it means. Is okay. Fidel Castro passed away, and now Cuba has become more open. And um, and that's a big thing. For people who have family members that are still stuck in Cuba, I'm sure this openness is going to lead to um, families being reunited. So what does it mean for me, as a South Korean? Um, you know, Look, if you live in South Korea, even though people are like, oh well, like it's just the thing, like we're just used to the threat of war. They're constantly living under the threat of war in South Korea, and they're just like it's just a part of their life. Now, if through this process, millions of South Koreans can now be at ease to say, hey, you know what, that psychopath up in North Korea, because Kim Jong Un, let's be honest, the guy's freaking crazy. He killed his own brother-in-law with some hired assassins and stuff. We know that he's crazy. Yeah, it's the truth. But maybe he realizes it's time for a change. I don't really know what his end game is, but at the end of the day, this is where he has put pen to paper and signed something and said, I am making a commitment to want to change. And I don't know what has motivated him to this point. Um, you know, whether Donald Trump wants to take credit for what he's done, I don't really care. But I care more about the outcome of what happened. You know, um, for for a very long time, there are people that are stuck in North Korea, and for me, as a South Korean, those people are our brothers, our sisters, living under the tyranny of a crazy person, starving to death, um, being subjected to very evil things, while the South Koreans are living in prosperity. You know, so how can we go about our lives and just say like we don't care about what's going on? I do care about what's going on, and I think this is, if this is a first step, you know, okay, let's play it out. North Korea decides to go back on their word and they ramp up their nuclear program, right? What's the outcome? We're all screwed because they're going to do something very evil. But that's not the perspective that we take. That's not the way that you can go into something. Really, do you and I, as a normal citizen, a normal person, we're like a speck on the earth. Can we affect anything that's happening in the United States? I mean, anything that's happening in South Korea? No. But what's the point, or what's the use of going into this like with such a crazy hater negative attitude? There isn't anything, you know. And I have so many friends that love. I have friends that love South Korea and South Korean culture more than I do. I don't know if there's many people on this planet that love Korean food more than I do, but in terms of I have friends that are not born, that have no normal reason to love South Korea except somehow they just developed an affinity for the country. And you know what? They have friends that are South Korean. You have friends. I mean, you're a Facebook friend with me. You have a friend that's South Korean. You know. So at the end of the day, what does it really mean? yeah, like, is this pro Donald Trump? No, it's not. I mean, even the South Korean president is like, look, this is a good step. This isn't like life. It can be life changing. It has the potential to be life changing, but we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know the end game. We don't know the mind of what's going on, except what people say. And I mean, that's just a universal thing. You know, what can we do? What can we control? You know what? The best thing that we can do is hope and pray that this is a step in the right direction. You know, and that another, essentially an axis of evil, right? I guess that is that like a George Bush term, axis of evil. You know, is eventually going to be dismantled. And I don't know what the pressure is. Maybe it's the pressure from China, and you know what their motivation is. Again, you know, I don't think out all these political things that much. But at the end of the day, in Singapore, two leaders of two countries made some agreements to try to make some change. You know, and in your worldview, you cannot view it in a positive, hopeful way. Then I don't know. I don't know what to say. You know, all I know is I can look at it in a positive way and hope that eventually through this, our brothers and sisters who are living under the tyranny of a, you know, communist country will eventually come to freedom and be able to actually live a life that, you know, they'll have freedom, you know, that they'll have choices, that their children can grow up to do something great, you know, and, you know, they can really start to, you know, fulfill, you know, what it is, you know, in their life. And, you know, if that's the main purpose or goal, then awesome. You know, like, have I ever visited North Korea? No. Now, my sister-in-law has. She's visited North Korea, you know, and this is for anybody, you know, like, if you're from another part of the country and your ancestors or your family, you know, are separated by war, or like there was a civil war that split up your country, there's still other places on the planet where tyranny exists. There are other places on the planet where evil, you know, leaders exist, and they're killing people, and people are dying of starvation. You know, what can we do as like first world countries living in the comfort of our, you know, nice upper middle class existence do? I think we can pray. You know, I think that we can, you know, like Gail said, pray for freedom. You know, if there's a way that we can do impact, that's great. But, you know, for some people to just be like, well, yeah, well, he's crazy, he's gonna backstab us. Well, as, you know, the words of your mouth, then that's what could happen. You know, for me personally, I'm gonna do my best to keep, you know, a hopeful attitude towards it, because, you know, I gotta believe that God is in control, and you know, if his will and his out, you know, his what he wants is gonna happen, then you know what, Kim Jong Un, Donald Trump, other leaders of other countries are subject to what God wants. And so, yeah, I think it's a momentous day. You know, I think it's an important day. Doesn't mean change is gonna happen overnight, you know, but I am hopeful. You know, I am excited for what could happen. You know, because North Korea, South Korea, in my lifetime, has been two separate countries. And I know I have friends and family that still have friends and family that are stuck in North Korea, and they don't know if they're ever coming back. I met with North Korean athletes who came to the United States for a diplomatic exchange, and you looked in their eyes, they did not have joy. They did not have happiness. They were prisoners. And it was very heartbreaking for me to see that. And so, again, I think it is a day to celebrate. You know, not to celebrate one president or one person's accomplishments, but celebrate the potential outcome, you know, and to look at something with hope, that something really, you know, again, that the world is changing, you know, that the world is improving, you know, and yeah, you know, yeah, so North Korea, South Korea, look, they're our brothers, they're Koreans, they speak the same language, we are the same people, and that's not just Koreans. That's, DNA wise, we're all human beings, and if there are human beings on this earth being subject to tyranny, being subject to poverty, being subject to injustice, what can we do to make an impact? What can we do to make a change? And hopefully we can do that, and really be, a force for positive change in this world. So, again, I'm happy. I'm happy with, the steps, with the progress. I don't know what it totally means just yet, but you know what? I think good things are coming, and I hope, and I don't know truth of history lessons or what we can find, but honestly, I'm not gonna trust Twitter. I'm not gonna trust politically slanted one way or the other. But I know that South Koreans have a new sense of hope for what's going to happen, for what's going on. And so I think it is a momentous day. I think it's going to make a change. I don't know how East Germany and West Germany felt when the wall came down, but I think this is a step towards progress and freedom. So I think it's a good day. I don't know how you feel about it. I have family members that died in Korean conflict. Maybe you have too, and anybody who's American that had family members that served in the Korean War, man, I appreciate their sacrifice. I appreciate people who fight for freedom, and I am glad that I am part of the United States, a citizen. And yes, not every conflict we get into is 100%, for freedom and justice. There are times when we're defending oil or we're defending other political interests, but in this case, being involved in hopefully South Korea and what's going on our peninsula can lead to freedom and hope and change for the people. So that's really it. Anybody has any questions about Korea, South Korea, North Korea? I don't know everything. I'm not a historian, but I can tell you, I'm pretty excited for what's going on. So, all right, everybody have a great night.